Darksome night and shining moon, balance of the dark and light. Hearken ye, O witches' rune, as we perform our sacred rite. By earth and water, air and fire, by blade and bowl and circle round, we come to you with our desire. Let all that is hidden now be found. With censer, candle, book and sword, and ringing of the altar bell, we tie a knot within our cord to bind our magic in a spell. Mother of the summer fields, goddess of the silver moon, join with us as power builds, dance with us our witches' rune. Father of the summer dew, hunter of the winter snows, with open arms we welcome you, dance with us as power grows. Dance with us our witches' rune. Dance with us our witches' rune. Dance with us our witches' rune. Mother of the summer fields, goddess of the silver moon, join with us as power builds, dance with us our witches' rune. Father of the summer dew, hunter of the winter snows, with open arms we welcome you, dance with us as power grows. Dance with us our witches' rune. Dance with us our witches' rune. Dance with us our witches' rune. By all the light of moon and sun, by all the might of land and sea, chant the rune and it is done. As we will, so mote it be.
Hey y'all, good morning. It's High Priestess Jamila and I am up early. How y'all doing this morning? So y'all gonna hear me doing a little rustling over here because I'm straightening up this little area over here. Gotta straighten up a little bit. Just this like little tiny area right here that needs to be organized that I'm about to do. But I wanted to come and talk to y'all about something real quick. And, I know that this is not going to change the behaviors of the psychopathic, not just witches, but psychopathic Christians that hate witches. I think it's so stupid, whether or not you're a Christian or a witch, to attack each other spiritually at all. I think that they need to start printing the Bible. Also, when it comes to Christianity, they need to start printing the Bible without all that negative stuff in it, because people just don't know how to handle it. People don't know how to. I love witches that are responsible with their craft, but I cannot stand some. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Sometimes I'll be telling some of these wannabe witches, so-called witches, or real witches, to go to church, because why are you attacking? What would possess you to do that? So I love witches, but witches are not always responsible with the craft. They're not always responsible. Okay. And so Katie Koch, um, I'm not talking about her. Like, I'm not like coming down on Katie Koch at all. So I run into a video, right? I run into a video of a channel that I'm not even subscribed to, and it's this guy that tells true crime stories. And so he's talking about Katie Koch, and how in Wisconsin her two children, somehow this witch ended up, and I'll tell you how it comes about that we find out that she's a witch. Come to find out, she basically um ended up going to jail. Her children were found roaming the streets, bruised and bloody and covered in feces. When the police went to her house, the whole house, the walls, was literally covered with feces. Okay. And so that's bad. That's terrible. And so she ended up getting 10 years in prison, but uh, apparently there was a male involved, but I'm not going to focus on that aspect. So basically, if you want to look up the story, you can. But the guy that covered the story ran across her Facebook page, and her Facebook page um, was not under her name. Her Facebook page was under Gypsy Ray, was the name of her Facebook page. And so you could tell that Katie loved her children, right? You could tell that she didn't necessarily do that to them children on purpose. However, the one thing that I could see very clearly is that she was involved in some kind of witch war, because you could tell that she was a witch and that she had been practicing because of the things that she was posting on her Facebook. Okay. Whether or not this witch war was known or not, um, she was. And I could see it very, very clearly. Even if I threw my cards, it would be only for confirmation. And so you could tell that she was in a witch war that affected her children. Like, it affected the way that she was even able to care for herself and her children. Of course, on top of that, she had mental problems, okay, that she needed to be medicated for. But that's not to say that a person it can't still practice. But I think that if you are a witch and you have mental issues, it's probably best some and it's I mean it's a catch 22. I think that sometimes medications can disconnect you emotionally to the point where you're willing to do anything. It kind of messes you up a little bit, but apparently she could have used some medication. The point that I'm making is that when you look through the pictures, you can tell that she was like a normal person. In some of the pictures of her boys, she has beautiful little boys. And it's such a shame that it ended up like that for her. Whoever it is that she was warring with pretty much, I guess, won some kind of battle with her. But as a woman, as a mother myself, that has consistently been attacked by so-called other witches for literally no reason, just for the hell of it, just because. This, this is the primary reason why I don't like witch wars to begin with, but then especially when children are involved. I think that it's horrific, right? So one thing I can tell you is that there witches can be really destructive towards each other. And I think it's stupid. First of all, it's pointless. What are you trying to prove? And that's why it makes me nervous to attack any to even strike back a witch that has children, because I think about the children more than that witch sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a mother and she's practicing witchcraft, and and she's throwing stuff at you, and then I don't get attacking each other's children. I don't understand what I've never been involved with that. I've never been involved in a war with another witch where I am attacking her children. Like, I do not understand where or why that would happen to anybody. But what I can tell about Katie Koch is that there was apparently some kind of spiritual war that was going on, because if you go look at her Facebook page, you can tell that she was a witch, and you can tell that she was into some pretty dark stuff. However, there was some kind of something that was happening. There was some kind of something that was happening with another witch or a practitioner, because I think that a witch and a practitioner is probably two different things, I guess. You can be a witch and not practice, but then again, you can not be a witch but still practice. Okay, so a practitioner is different from a witch. What I recognized when I went to Katie Coach's Facebook page is that she is a witch. Okay, she is a witch. Hey, Unicali, good morning. She's a witch that was in a war with another witch and lost her head because somehow her children ended up getting horrifically neglected. Horrifically neglected. Like, uh, I didn't hear them say that the children were malnourished or anything like that, but I guess it was like a filthy environment or something, not good at all. And see, this is the reason why witches should have guidance and they should practice responsibly. You know, even the elements are connected to spirits. When you call on air, fire, water, and earth, and I think that this is the reason why education is needed when it comes to the craft. Even when you're calling on the elements, you need to know who you're calling on, and because even the air, the fire, the water, the earth can those are spirits involved with that. So when you are practicing and when you are invoking these things, you need to know what it is that you are invoking, and you need to know what it is that you're doing. And so it's such a shame because um witches are already under attack by the church, being told that they're just the devil. And yeah, there are witches that do worship the devil, because they have nowhere to go. I talked about that the other day. They have nowhere else to go. Okay. And they've been thrown out for generations, for lifetimes, tortured, burned, um, just essentially abandoned because of the evils of the church. I think it's horrible. Sometimes when I look around on YouTube, I'm completely and totally freaked out by the number of uh and I understand fighting against evil witches. I because I hate witches that do shit like that. I hate witches that just randomly attack people. I don't like that. So I'm not saying that that's right, but I don't think that it's right also uh to just attack all of us, because all of us are not like that. Some witches have a level head. Some witches are good people. Okay. And I think that more of us are good people versus the bad ones. The bad ones tend to be very unstable, very volatile, very mean, very, very mean. Okay. And so that we've people don't understand, you know what I'm saying? And I think the last thing that we need is to be listening to these elders that encourage war between witches. Like, I cannot stand I cannot stand when I see somebody that people go to for guidance, encouraging them to attack each other. I think that's disgusting, in my opinion. And then, especially when you see that there's children in the home, and and especially these days with so many witches that are in social media, and all they want is clout and views, and they're willing to kill other witches to get it. And some of them are not real, some of them are fake, some of them are just using the craft. And more than likely it's fake, and they're just utilizing the craft to get attention. You know what I'm saying? But some of them are real. Some of them are actually real witches that have lost their way, and some of them are older. How are you giving proper guidance to these witches out here when you are encouraging them to attack other witches just because? Why are you doing that? Why are you trying to do that? So from what I could see is that there may have been some kind of defensive war that was going on with Katie Koch. And unfortunately, she ended up getting taken down, her and her kids. She ended up getting taken down. Anytime your children are roaming the streets, bloody and bruised and covered in feces, you lost the whatever it was that was happening. And I can tell. So I may even do a reading on her. I had downloaded a picture of her and her boyfriend. I meant to put that picture up of Katie Coach. And but the reason why I wanted to bring her up as an example, okay? Well, see, that's what I was gonna say, Unicali. Whenever witches are warring with each other and slinging crap back and forth to each other, this is unfortunately the results. Now, it ain't been the results for me. I've had witches and Christians wishing death on me and my kids. I've even had people come out in social media and claim that I had doo-doo spread all over my walls, which I've never had doo-doo on my walls. My son has never doo-dooed in the bed. That's never happened. And it reminded me of that, which is what triggered this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's been horrific attacks, verbal abuse, attempts of mental abuse on me, and I'm a very strong person. I'm not going to let that happen. You know what I'm saying? And I've been dealing with it for 10 years, and I'm unbreakable. Can't nobody break me. Seriously. But anyway, that's unfortunately the reality of it when you are going back and forth with a witch is that if that witch has to defend herself, those spirits, that witch war can affect and hit the children of that witch. And so for me, I used to, I'm gonna tell y'all something straight up and down. And I still do this, but I don't do it like I don't just do it, because I have to make sure that whatever my resources are helps my children, because I've had pitfalls because of other witches and their inability to just shut the fuck up and leave me alone, right? Um what I was going to say about that is that years ago I would look at irresponsible witches, just totally irresponsible. First of all, you shouldn't be. I'm gonna tell you something. I would say 70 to 80% of witch wars are preventable. You shouldn't be attacking another witch anyway. Okay. Like, okay, you had an exchange of words. What are you lighting candles for? Like, what it like why would you even start something like that? Why would you even create something like that? But years ago, I would always think about the witch's children. If it was a witch that I was warring with, which a lot of people don't realize, like one of the original people that I can't even talk about it because any kind of truth is not to be spoken. But I, I used to protect the other witches' children, because I'd be like, why are you doing this? You have kids. Why don't you think about your kids more than some fucking social media clout? Why? Why are you doing that? Who cares about social media clout? Who cares about a troll that's encouraging you to do something? Wake up. Wake up. Why are you attacking? I don't want to be in a war with you. I don't want to be in a beef with you. So what I would do is I would send love and light to the kids, because here I am sitting up here getting shit slung at me. I'm literally seeing death, destruction, all kind of stuff being done, piss jars, shit jars, just sour jars being done, jars with glass and nails in it, um jars with even the pictures of my kids on it, candles and shit being lit on my kids. It's ridiculous. But what I would do years ago is I would be like, oh my god, this person that I can see clearly is attacking me has kids. And that's sad. That's sad because if you throw something back, when they get that back, because people conjure stuff and they don't even really know what they're doing. They take everything for granted. So they're conjuring all this dark shit and sending it. And what else is a witch? The spirit is going to return it to sender. That's why I try to keep my craft as pure as possible. I've tried to keep it as pure as possible, and don't have all that mess. What are you doing? Well, needless to say, I stopped that because I'm starting to see my kids get compromised, and my business be affected to the point where I'm having to feed my kids literally cans of chili with nacho cheese and chips, and trying to be creative when it comes to dinner. And so it's like, well, I got to worry about my own kids. Some of these witches don't give a damn about their own kids. They just want to attack, attack, attack. Attacking that witch is more important than their own family. And that's where I think this came in. Now with Katie Koch, I think that she was also unaware. Right? She was unaware. If you go and you look at her Facebook, you can see obviously that she was a witch. She probably even was practicing, or she didn't really know. But apparently there was what I can see is a war with another witch that threw some stuff on her, bamboozled her, because witches can do all kind of wicked, awful things. Wicked, awful things. Mind control, death spells, unaliving spells. It's awful what they can do. And so she got hit up with that heat, Katie Koch, and the next thing you know, oh, I've got she used mental illness as an excuse. But I'm sorry, for you to let your household go to that point, like I'm talking about in real life, like, y'all, I've been in wars with witches to where they have called CPS to my house, lied to them. CPS come in the house is clean, there's no doo-doo everywhere, there's no my kids are not what do you call that, um what's that, the name of something where somebody is emaciated, like the kids are healthy, but I'm talking about in real life. Katie Coach, like, she was involved with a witch war with somebody, and whoever it was, I don't know whether or not they was protecting themselves from her, or if they just randomly attacked her. Like, I don't know that. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Why do witches do that to each other? And so that's why I said, instead of just saying, oh, well, go to church and go to Jesus, I think that there needs to be more thought put into it, because that's not going to work. Going to Jesus is not going to work. Especially if it's a witch. It doesn't work. You can't be a witch and be a Christian at the same time. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it. Most of the witchy scholars, most of the people that y'all see that really know what they're doing will tell you, like, no. But why always see us as problematic, though? And I can see why, because there's so many witches that are just irresponsible. And that's stupid. Like, and as a woman witch, because there's male witches too, as a woman witch, you should think about not only your children, but you should think about other witches' children. Like, for me, I always have. I've never been an evil person to where I've never wanted to attack anybody or curse anybody in my damn life. My innate nature is that of a healer. So, and the way my spirits are is that we don't see nobody as a threat. Like, because ultimately at the end of the day, you just gonna get bamboozled and flambéed. However, there are people that want to be a threat. So, when a person pushes and pushes and pushes enough to be a threat, then that's when spirit says, okay, we got to do something. And it don't always involve no candle. It ain't always got to be a candle. In fact, traditionally, candles were used by witches, yes, for spells and for protection and for various purposes. But candles were used because witches, we didn't have modern day technology and lights. Candles was used to light up the rooms and in the witch's dwelling, so that then don't nobody need no candles to practice witchcraft. And we certainly didn't have skull candles. I mean, we would sometimes have skulls of animals that we would find, come across. That was originally the skull candle. You take or it may have been plenty of cadavers around. That I've back in. Okay, so Down in Louisiana, it is very easy to get a human skull because there's actually still deceased bodies and skulls and bones washing up. Yeah, there was actually a story that was written about a witch, and I think that she was getting ready to go to jail, or she went to jail or whatever. She was selling these bones of these dead people. But that throughout history, it's not that the witches murked somebody, but there's, especially for some reason in Louisiana the past 20 years, in some places it's real easy to get a real skull of a real human person, a real human skull. You can actually get that. You can actually get that. So, nobody was using a candle, skull. These days with modern technology, we've got skull candles. We've got candles that it's like shaped like a human heart, like not just a heart shaped candle, but like a heart, the spine, the neck. I mean, it's you can make a candle mold out of anything if you creative enough. You know what I'm saying? Because but anyway, the point that I'm making is that witchcraft is powerful enough on its own to where you don't need no handicrafty stuff like that. Like, honestly, I don't spend my time doing evil stuff like that. But I'm not an evil witch at all. But if I wanted to make somebody run around in traffic, I could. I don't have time for that. I enjoy spending time with the people that I love. I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm not depressed. I think that that's the actions of a depressed person that's just constantly trying to do bad things. I like to enjoy life personally. Okay. I don't want to spend 24/7 in a dark place. You know what I'm saying? If darkness is thrown at me or bane is thrown at me, I like to just take a few minutes to send it back. I don't want to stay in that energy all day and night. That's just not what I enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, I just, no thank you. You know what I'm saying, Unicali? Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, when you if and but I'm telling you that Katie Koch story, and I appreciate the guy that dropped that story. Uh, because I mean, in looking at her mugshot, uh, and people will say, well, she ain't no witch if she got arrested. There's been plenty of witches who have went to jail. There have been plenty of witches who get taken down. There are plenty of real witches that real things can happen to them. Just if there's a war with another witch, and that other witch is ruthless and powerful as hell. So people be trying to act like, oh, if you're a witch, you're just automatically invincible. No, that doesn't make you automatically invincible. It doesn't. So, people really don't understand that. And uh but I would have never known where her Facebook page was at, which told it all. You know what I'm saying? It just really told the entire story of, what was going on. And I just think that it's silly. I think that it's silly. And you know what? I think that we have a lot more witches that are in social media. It's just they don't feel that it's worth saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm a witch, and my mama was a witch, and my sisters is witches, and my grandma was a witch, and my great grandma was a witch, and we was all witches. But I just don't feel that it's worth it saying in social media, because you ain't ready. When you ready, you can say it. Like if you truly have done the footwork to protect yourself as a witch. And so many of us come out in social media and you learn, because it's literally sub-zero temperatures. This the like people think the world is cold. Try coming out as a witch and get attacked by some witches that might or might not know what they doing. Now, I personally don't think it's worth it. I think that those witches in the long run, especially if you're dealing with somebody that has a lot of self-love, a lot of love, uh from spirit, somebody that does have a purpose. And I think that it's important for people to understand that everybody has a purpose, but that's just crazy. Like, I always think about people's kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, for example, like, I had an enemy that I had heard about, like, something happened to her grandchild. And that wasn't nothing that, like, it did, like, the child didn't die or anything. Oh my God. Like, no, like, anybody that I'm beefing with, like, I would never wish death on your children. And you ain't about to do nothing to mine, because if any, because at the end of the day, nothing will ever happen to my children or grandchildren. If it had to be like that, I would go down. I would die, not my kids. Because I don't like, I take everything, which is pretty good. I've done pretty good, Unicali. I have. Y'all, I've done pretty good in preserving myself too, because you would think that you would think that I would have a head full of gray hair. Like, I'm talking about completely ghastly white hair, just and just looking bad. But I don't look that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, on some days I may look a little rough. But anyway, I don't like that. Like, I think that you can either choose to war with each other or not. And then what really irritates me is that, like, for example, I was looking at a video that was saying that, I was looking at a Sarah Suit and Seti video. For some reason, Spirit has led me back to him to look at a few of his videos. Oh, thank you, Unicali. You're so sweet. Probably because I try to keep my heart pure of gold, pure as gold. I don't like that. I'm not an evil person. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I ain't no weak person. If I got to put on my if I got to put up my armor, I'm put up my armor. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thank you. Thank you. But I was looking at a Cyrus Suit and Seti video, and he was saying that apparently the president of Iran raised $50 million or $40 million to assassinate our president. And it's like, oh my God, presidential assassinations, I guess they're a thing. I guess it's always a risk if you're running for president. I guess that's the risk that you take or whatever. But I believe and I know for a fact that there's a more peaceful way, like. And then people always want to bring the gods into it, but the only thing that the universe speaks to me is peace. And everybody on this earth that desires peace are protected. Everybody on this earth that desires peace and harmony and love, everybody, everybody on this earth who desires that is protected and in very good company. I don't know where these other people are coming up with this war. I think that you are fighting against the gods. I think that right now, because it's a shame what happened to that lady's kids. And I might do a reading on her today after I have my coffee and confirm my suspicions. Y'all know I don't like to get into stuff in the news. But I might do a reading on her because I think that the story is very interesting. Especially what's interesting is that she is a witch. So Katie Koch, if you look up her story in Wisconsin, she horrifically neglected her kids, right? horrifically. You like looking at the court footage, the kids are alive, they're fine, okay? uh but if you look at the court footage, you could tell that genuinely she was going through it. But if you look up her Facebook, she's a witch. Okay, her Facebook is under a different name called Gypsy Ray. So I think it would be interesting to do a reading on her, which is why I like, for me, y'all know how I always have big dreams. And so this is the reason why I feel like, well, there actually is already a school of the Hogwarts. I don't think that it's in the United States. I think that the United States is literally a cesspool of people that are like, even sometimes the government can be against witches, which is ridiculous. I think that it's totally ridiculous. But that's why I was saying we need to have more education, more support than people just grabbing a candle and going and figuring it out. Because literally, my auntie, who is a Christian, right? And I still like any of my family that are Christian, I still love them. Like, I have nothing against people and their religious beliefs. Just don't throw it at me. Don't throw nothing nasty at me. But like I was staying at her house. She doesn't live in Georgia anymore, but I was staying at my auntie's house when I first got to Georgia years ago. She lived in Savannah, Georgia, and Savannah is very haunted, mainly and primarily with good spirits, though. It's a lot of good spirits in Savannah, Georgia. But I was, just, because she was at work, and I was, me and the boys kind of went there to stay with her for a little while when we first got to Georgia. And so I was straightening up her house and everything. And she came home from work one day and I had one of her scented candles lit. And she was like, no, 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 don't like. She felt like bad spirits came through candles, right? And spirits do come through candles. They do. So you can't just be like lighting candles and you don't realize that you could be getting possessed yourself. Like, for me, y'all, if I feel, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing I can tell you, uh, which is why, which is why I carry the title as a high priestess. Most people cannot cleanse themselves. Most people cannot do that, right? Most people cannot. It is what I've found. Like, no, not most people. Some people. I don't want to say most people. If I feel a bad spirit has invaded, like, because the way I pick up on it is that it'll just make me feel kind of ick. That I can exercise myself of that spirit. There's an incantation that I've been doing for years that works, and it works very quickly to banish spirits. If I ever feel off, you have to be careful because you can practice witchcraft and become possessed. That's the one thing that I've had well over 20 years of experience. So I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Just I'm talking about hardcore experience. Like the number of people that I see dabbling, because dabbling is when you're playing with something and you really don't know what you're playing with. You really don't take it seriously. You really don't. You can become possessed yourself. Okay. And that possession can be harmful. So, this is the reason why I carry the title of high priestess, and I will continue. I'm not going to change it. That's just like I'm not going to not call myself a witch. You can't change nothing about me. I don't care what I got to go through, even if it's the hard knocks, even if I have to be inconvenienced, even if I have to be humiliated, whatever, I'm going to stand on it. I can't do nothing but be real about it. But it's important, especially when you do dark magic, for you to clear yourself. The way I would do it, and I'm gonna tell y'all straight up and down, is I would take either some regular table salt Sea salt is preferred, but a lot sea salt is very precious. You want to save your sea salt because sea salt is, it's very powerful. um, you want to take that, put it in a bath, or either put it in a cup and rinse yourself off. Wash your hands with it. Wash your head with it. Say an incantation. You want to clear yourself of that negativity. Especially if you're doing dark magic. Now, if you're doing dark magic that is not justified, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I've never seen more people just doing dark magic just because it's like, no, you don't. Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, and I love to put a couple of drops of eucalyptus oil too. Eucalyptus oil and eucalyptus is a staple. So, but I'm gonna do a reading on Katie Koch. I'm gonna do a reading, and I'm not gonna necessarily do a reading on, because her kids are fine. She's got beautiful kids. You know what I'm saying? Uh, one of them has cleft palate lip cleft palate, one of her kids. But what I want to look at is what was the spiritual energy, what was the deal with that, because I have seen that happen, and I've picked up on it through spirit. I picked up on it through spirit. Like, I've seen stuff coming towards me very dark, and I've just sensed it and picked up on this. Like, what in the world? Why would somebody even think to even try to send something like that? Oh, well, let me send it back. Keep the party going. Keep the party going. Because I'm gonna tell you something. As a witch, people will try to attack your family. Some people, and they don't necessarily have to be witches. I've seen Christians do this. I've seen all different types of people from different spiritual beliefs. I have seen them throw stuff at people to where it's to cause devastation, pain, suffering. Like, people try to put spells on your sons or your husbands to make them unalive you. People attacking your family, like, literally. Like, I have seen that, and I've had that done to me before. And it's, I'm such a, like I can see stuff coming to me years in advance. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that I didn't see is attacks from a landlord. I didn't see that coming at all. I was totally blind to that. But I can, like if something's coming towards my family, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that some people can't see it, or either they don't want to see it. So it's some real evil, wicked stuff out there that can come towards you. And have to be careful out there. But I'm gonna do a reading on her sometime, like in the next few hours. I promise. I always say that I'm gonna do a reading on something, then I don't, because I get busy with something else. But I'm dead, because I think that it's interesting. I think that it's definitely interesting. Okay. Yeah. So, anywho, that's pretty much it. Leave a comment, leave a message. Don't troll me. Don't troll me, because trolls are like, literally, don't troll me. Okay. But if you guys want to make a comment on this, I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective. A spiritual perspective is what. And okay, so here's the thing. Nobody's using that as an excuse for what she did. I'm not saying it, because people always, like, they automatically, like, people are so dead set on damnation, 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 that it blinds them. And I've noticed that about people in our world. Like they just want to damn somebody without actually doing the spiritual research on what happened. That, you know what I'm saying? So what I want to do is I want to look at who was she beefing with and what was she possessed by, because it's all spirit. Whether or not it's lack of spirits, I can tell that she was in a war. Okay, I can tell that in that case she was in a war. Okay, and she wasn't beating her kids or anything. I don't think she was beating those kids or nothing. She wasn't doing anything like that, but she was keeping them in a filthy environment. And, yeah, no. So she got 10 years in prison for that. And I think her boyfriend got the same amount of time. I'm not sure. Because they claimed that he was holding them hostage or some crap. I'm gonna focus on what was going on with her and what was the sudden change, because you can tell that her kids were well taken care of, because she actually has pictures of the kids on her Facebook. They were well taken care of. What happened? What caused the psychological break? What caused the breakdown to make her break to the point where all of a sudden she's not taking care of her children, and somehow her walls are being covered with feces? What demon is responsible for that? Goodness gracious. So I wanna look into that. Anyway, y'all. That's pretty much it. Make sure that y'all subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, I'll be back a little bit later, okay, with that reading. Cause I'm curious, very curious as to what happened. And I feel it very strongly that it was some kind of witch war with somebody that seemed to be very ruthless. We're gonna find out. Okay. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Blessings. Bye. Have a good day. Unicali.